Well, we welcome you guys back to another season of NFL football, another season of Falcons football, the 60th season at that. There's been so much conversation about this Falcons team with Michael Penix at the center of it all. What about these rookies? How are they faring on this defense? And how will everyone fare today as they take on the NFC South champions in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Thank you guys for joining us today for the Falcons pregame show presented by Ticketmaster. I'm Taylor Vismor. This is Derek Rackley. It's our third season here together.
Has it already been 3 years?
We are like old friends, you and me.
I mean, let's go.
And it's been a minute, you guys. We have not worked together since the NFL draft. So before we get into all the topics today that we're going to get into, how are you doing? That's what I want to know.
Can y'all just hold on a little second, just kind of catch up a little bit? I'm doing good. How you been doing?
I'm good. You were at a couple games. You call college games. How have those been?
Yeah, I've already had 3 college games before we're playing our first NFL game of the season.
He was in Oregon last night.
Last night, yeah. Took the red eye. That's how important all of you are, is that I'm going on about 2.5 hours of sleep. So if the eyes look a little droopy, just look past them and pay more attention to the content.
You look great. You look great. In Oregon, that was a wild game. 70 points up in Oregon. And
Oregon looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good this year. But let's kind of talk about the Falcons now. Let's take a 3,000-foot view as we enter week 1 of the 2025 season. What are you most excited to see from this Falcons team this year?
Well, there's 3 things that are on my mind. It's now the Michael Penix era. We knew this was coming. We did get to see him start a few games last year, but now the team, the reins, if you will, have been turned over to Michael Penix. And so that's what's exciting, because you got a guy that was so accomplished at the college level, comes into the NFL with a lot of hype, and it's now his team. Why else are you excited about it? Because there is so much emphasis, Taylor, on the quarterback position in the National Football League. Your quarterback plays really well, you got a chance to do some great things in the NFL. If they don't, unfortunately, it's just not a league anymore where you can win by running the football and playing great defense and get all the way through the postseason. That's just not reality of this day and age of the National Football League. Number 2, it's now the Jeff Ulbrich era on the defensive side of the ball. Excited to see what he's done. So many positive things have come out of the offseason, of OTAs, of training camp, everybody buying into what he is selling. And then obviously is all the new rookie draft picks on the defensive side of the ball. Not only are those guys brought in, but they're going to be playing a prominent role in week 1 of the 2025 season. And guess what? They have to.
Yeah,
they have to play a prominent role.
You just listed like all the things that we're going to talk about for this Falcons team. So I'm glad that you're excited about all 3 of those things. Something that I'm really excited to see, that I always get excited to see early in the season for all 32 teams, is how they build on the foundation that they made during training camp, during OTAs. That time is so fun. It's fun to be part of the team because you get to be out practice every single day. You get to see how they build the team from 90 down to 53. It's so interesting, and everyone starts on the same playing field with the same foundation every year. And if you guys happen to miss out on training camp, a lot happened, and here is the recap from training camp.
You know, you got to have those marquee pieces in place, and you can score as many points as you want, but if you can't stop anybody, it's just not going to go well. I think the needs was addressed. I know Raheem, being a defensive guy, understands the importance of what it takes to win in the National Football League, and this team will be ultra competitive this year.
Rise up, yes sir. Rise up, baby, rise up. Ooh, the sun out today.
Put it in one word, I'll just say grind. We're staying in dorms, so no distractions. We just come here to work, and that's that. We just want to improve every day.
I think it just takes it back to like the dog days when you're playing football. Like you take away all the luxuries of anything else. All the focus is strictly football. So you're going from practice, meetings to the dorms, practice, meetings, dorm, and it becomes this routine, this repetitive routine that becomes your life.
Everything good? You have a good break? Yes, sir. All right, man. It's time to go. Time to go. Time to go, brother. Time to go.
I think that it starts out with just what's going to happen with those young edge rushers. You trade up to get James Pierce after taking Jalen Walker, but those guys competing and how the rush group comes together, it's a really big deal for the Falcons, because you can go back past 4 or 5 years since Terry Fontenot got here, and the perpetual narrative has been, how are they going to get pass rush? When are they going to get a pass rush?
They walk.
I think they're much better defensively. I feel like
with Jeff Ulbrich, just knowing Jeff, I think the players will back him up. They really believe in what he's doing.
Remember, James, make everything hard as on yourself. Make it hard. So on Sundays, it's easy, you know?
Rushing the pass is like playing basketball, you know. You got to be a team up front. So that's basically what we get used to doing, playing with each other up front.
I think we got some proven outstanding vets on the defensive side. And then I think with the quality of the draft we had this year, I think you'll be able to see the whole roster elevate itself to a different level. So I'm excited about where we are.
I hate to say stuff early because, like you just said, we got to go out there and do it. But I mean, the defense has changed, man. The mentality's changed. Like they're more aggressive. They're playing for each other. They're, everything that Brick says to them, like they listen and they do it. It makes us happy. Obviously, like some practices, I'm getting pissed off. We're trying to break everything all the time as an offense, and we're trying to create these explosives in the run game and the pass game.
Good, TQ. Good.
We're playing football, and we're going against each other every day. It's hot, it's physical, and sometimes the temperature goes up, but after that, it stays on the field.
They're so energetic, and if they make a big play, they're gonna make it known. They're gonna come to your face, they're gonna, yeah, we here, just get excited, and we want them to be like that. We want them to set that edge, have that edge, because we're gonna bring it on our side, so they bring it on their side too. We'll be a hard team to stop.
Well, every year, every team in the NFL, they start over and they start a new foundation, and they have a new vibe to every team that they have. And, I mean, you could feel that on the defensive side of the ball this year with Jeff Ulbrich coming in.
Yeah, I mean, that video was kind of a summary of training camp, but it really quickly kind of shifted to a summary of the defense and how some independent analysts are seeing the Atlanta Falcons and how they're going to end up faring in 2025, feeling like defense has been upgraded, right? So everybody's so anxious to see what that looks like on the field. Got a chance to hear from a couple of those defensive players, and even got to hear from Bijan Robinson talking about some of those battles that they've had against the defense during training camp, and just feeling that heightened level of competition, and how even your star running back is excited to see what that side of the football is going to do once you get into the regular season. There's so much talk in the offseason with the draft and with free agency and OTAs and training camp and even preseason games. But now it's actually time to all that work needs to unfold on the field. And it not only needs to unfold, but it needs to unfold in production, right? Exactly. It's one thing to get all these draft picks, have them on the field, and they're just running around, right? But those draft picks actually have to produce. There's a lot of veterans around them, but we need to see those defensive players produce on the field. Pass rush, secondary, takeaways, all of the above.
Well, what was so interesting about camp this year, speaking of those rookies, is that they needed them to play meaningful snaps in the regular season, and that takes a while to ramp these guys from a college level of playing to now a professional level. I mean, it's a hard adjustment for a lot of guys, whether you're a first rounder or all the way to a UDFA. It's a hard transition, so it's really fun to watch how these rookies find their footing on whether it's the defense or the offensive side of the ball. And I think you have seen that in training camp with all four of those defensive rookies finding their footing. So much so that three of those defensive rookies will get the start today. Billy Bowman Jr. will get the start, and Xavier Watts will get the start as well with James Pierce Jr. Now, Jalen Walker will play meaningful snaps today. He will just be a rotational player, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But let's talk about these three guys really quickly. We can talk about Jalen as well.
Sure,
let's not leave him out.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what you have seen from these guys and what you're excited to see from them today as they start their NFL careers.
Well, fortunately, as a college football analyst, I've gotten to see a lot of all of them in the college game, and they've all kind of bounced off the screen, bounced off the field. They've stuck out because of their individual playmaking ability, but also their ability to play as a team, right? It's one thing for a guy to go out there and make splash plays, but I got a chance to watch Billy Bowman Jr. in a game last year against Missouri that I was calling, and this young man, not only is he a playmaker, but he is physical. That's one thing I'm looking forward to seeing today. He's going to play the nickel position, but I'm looking forward to seeing him in run support, because this guy will come up and he will hit you now. And he's also a ball hawk. This is a guy that was a former running back and wide receiver in high school, but he's got the ability to take the football away. We've seen Jesse Bates over a couple of years here take the football away. We need to start to see other players consistently take the football away. Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman Jr., both have done that. By the way, Xavier Watts, 13 interceptions his last 2 years in college, was more than any other FBS player. So to your point, Taylor, rookies coming in, You need them to play. You need them to produce. What happens a lot of times is you don't want it to be all about your rookies, but those rookies, not just the Falcons, those rookies in the NFL that come in and they find their footing early, they find a place, and they're able to produce, those are the teams that you end up seeing kind of rise in the standings, rise in the rankings, if you will. The teams that you're going to see fighting to get into the postseason are the teams that invest in draft picks. I'm going to give you an example. Philadelphia Eagles. They've invested in draft picks. Those guys have hit, and guess what? They're making it to the postseason, and they're winning Super Bowls. Yeah. That's what you've got to see when you invest in these players in the draft. They need to be developed, and they need to come on the field and start producing.
Something that I love about Xavier Watts, too, you mentioned how many interceptions that he had in the FBS in his time at Notre Dame. He's only played the position for 3 years, and he's played meaningful snaps in the position for 2 seasons only. That's impressive. I mean, that's just a true athlete that you're getting out of Xavier Watts. And then Billy Bowman, too. That guy is a ball hawk. He's probably going to play in that nickel position a little bit today. But who I want to talk about, really, is the guy that everyone's kind of been talking about in the National Football League in terms of the edge rusher position, and that is James Pierce Jr. along with Jalen Walker. Yeah. Both of these guys taken first in the first round, number 15 and 26, respectively. What are you seeing from James Pierce Jr. that are you excited to see today?
Is the athleticism, the explosion getting off of the line of scrimmage, the speed getting around the corner. Now, he's going to have to figure some things out in the National Football League. And again, just from watching the early games in the season this year, I saw the first-round pick, I believe he was a first-rounder, but Donovan Ezeraku, who was a guy that was mocked a lot to come to the Atlanta Falcons because he was a really good pass rusher. I saw him get swallowed up in the first game of the season. So sometimes there is a learning curve, not only for young players, but young pass rushers, because they're going to be going up against tackles that are more advanced than they have ever seen. Even these two guys that have played in the SEC, they're playing against NFL caliber tackles, but there's something different between an NFL caliber SEC tackle and a 7-year vet offensive tackle, a 10-year vet offensive tackle. So some of these things are going to be learned along the way, but you can't teach speed, explosiveness, athleticism. That's hard to teach somebody. That just has to come, and both of those guys have that. Not to mention instincts. That's one thing that I've seen from Jalen Walker, his instincts. Knowing where the football is going to go, knowing where the ball carriers are going to be, but then having the athletic ability to go make plays on those guys. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing from these two.
Yeah, I think with James Pierce Jr., you get this guy who is ready day one to go out and play meaningful snaps off the edge across from someone like Leonard Floyd. I think those two players, I think James Pierce Jr. has the potential to become someone that is similar to a Leonard Floyd. And I think having a veteran like Leonard Floyd in your locker room with James Pierce is invaluable. And it's really exciting to have someone like Leonard be able to coach and work alongside of James Pierce Jr. The bigger question, I think, with this edge rusher group in terms of these rookies is Jalen Walker, of where does he fit in here? Because coming into the draft process, a lot of teams, a lot of analysts said, this guy's more of a tweener. We don't know if he's going to be an edge rusher or an inside linebacker. Jeff Ulbrich has come back and said, look, we're going to train him at one position at a time. And when he gets really great at that position, then we will talk about moving him elsewhere. But right now, he is an edge rusher for the Atlanta Falcons. And it will take him a little bit of time to find the footing of just being an edge rusher, not just being an inside linebacker. So when you hear that from Jeff Ulbrich, what should fans know going in and in terms of expectations for Jalen Walker as he goes through the season?
I think what it means to me is that we may not see him in the role that he played for Georgia, which was where he was running off the edge and he was playing an inside linebacker, he was playing outside linebacker. That's the comfort level that they had for him in Athens. That may not be the responsibility. I know Raheem Morris talked previously about role clarity, right? What is their role going to be on this team early on in the National Football League? And for Jalen Walker, it might be edge rusher only. But I still think, yes, there's going to be an evolution for him where he's going to play edge rusher, but you're also going to see him line up in the A gap or the B gap as a pass rusher from that perspective. I think he's too talented to just say he's only going to play on the edge. To me, he is a valuable weapon, right? Well, does he play linebacker? Does he play edge rusher? I think he plays whatever suits best for that given week, right? And it's such a matchup league. And so we may see him more at the edge rusher position today, but maybe in a couple of weeks he's playing more off the line of scrimmage. He's that valuable because of the experience that he's had.
Yeah, well, this is an exciting day for the rookies as they make their NFL debut. And they were asked earlier in the week what this moment would be like when they run through the tunnel on Sunday.
get to game week here?
Feels great to finally get to game week. Dreams right in front of your face. It's amazing, and I'm so ready to put forward my best foot for my coaches and my teammates. It's been a long journey, but ready to roll.
Yeah, it's an honor and a blessing to have the opportunity to be out here. And, of course, the guys that I came in with, this is an exciting time for all of us, get the opportunity to have and experience our first regular season game. And, I'm just excited and fired up for the guys to get out here and compete. Like I said, I had a moment with Greg Beatles, our team president, about the time that I ran out for the first time. I'm ready to experience that again before a regular season game. That all that excitement will show on Sunday.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting time. Like you said, it's my first, career start. But at the same time, I had a little warm-up with preseason, so I'm not as nervous, but just a little nervous. Everybody's going to have some nerves coming into your first career game, first start. But, I've been preparing. I had all summer OTAs, so just ready for the moment, really.
All right, well, those rookies will get the start today, but let's kind of zoom out from the rookies and kind of talk about this defense as a whole. New defensive coordinator for the Falcons in Jeff Ulbrich. He was here from 2015 to 2020. Mm-hmm. He took over as an interim DC in 2020 when Raheem Morris became the interim head coach. Then he went to the Jets, and now he's back again as the defensive coordinator for the Falcons. The guys have really responded to Jeff Ulbrich, and he's coming here saying, look, you're going to hear this a lot from me. You're going to get heart, mind, and fist, and that's going to be the foundation of this defense. Another part of the foundation right there is getting after the quarterback, and that's exactly what this front office has given Jeff Ulbrich, is guys that can get out and get after the quarterback and be game disruptors. They went out and they got Leonard Floyd. They got Divine Diablo. They got all those rookies that we just talked about. When you look at this defense and what they were last year and where they are today, what are we're talking about expectations left and right today, but what are the expectations for this defense?
I think they're an extremely athletic group that's got a whole lot of versatility. We heard about the fist. The fist part of heart, mind, and fist is the physicality. And I don't want to say that that's a question mark, but I see so many players that can fly around the field, that can get up the field. But I want to see the physicality part play out. I'm not saying that it's not there, because we've seen it from guys like Jesse Bates or Caden Ellis or even the guys up front. But that's one area where you have got to be the most physical team on the field. You got to be the most physical unit on the field, because you got to stop the run. Remember who Atlanta is facing today, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that has two really good running backs that want to run the football, but they can also get out and get involved in the passing game. So we need to see that physicality, the fist part of heart, mind, and fist. With the heart meaning the team aspect, right? Going to war with your brothers and trusting each other. And then the mind portion is obviously the mental game. Being smart, knowing your responsibilities, and always being where you're supposed to be. Those are those three tenets, if you will, that he's focusing on, and it has worked.
Yeah.
You look back at his time with the Jets, and all he did was throw up top 5 defenses. That's what Atlanta, the Falcons organization, and that's what all these fans that are going to be in attendance today are hoping that he brings here to Atlanta.
I'm wondering, as a past player, when you hear about a mantra like heart, mind, and fist, that it really resonates with the players. It was said that people have it tatted on them, heart, mind, and fist, players and coaches alike. What does that do for a locker room when you have a mantra that just speaks through everybody?
You made a great comment before we came on the air, and I'm going to steal it from you, but you were talking about them almost having a mission statement. So you think about some of the best corporations out there, the best run companies, is they have a mission statement that's clearly defined, and everybody in the organization sticks to it and works towards it, right? And that can happen in the National Football League as well, and I think maybe that's kind of part of the reason why some teams don't have an identity is maybe they don't have that mantra every year, something that the coaches and the players always go back to, that you can throw out whatever team it is, whatever scheme, but if we play with heart, mind, and fist, then we're going to be all right. And so I think as long as they continue to preach that, the players buy into that, and they execute that, they're going to be in good shape. But there's obviously a lot of eyes on that side of the football because it has to improve from years past.
Yeah, well, and those mission statements, those mantras, those start from the top and they work their way to the bottom. So it starts with the defensive coordinator and then all the defensive coaching staff. But then it hits the leader of the defense and what they decide to do with it. And Jesse Bates, who is the leader of this defense right now, he has really involved it in himself, even in his family, and he spoke about it earlier in media last week.
Yeah, like I just said, it's almost a lifestyle. He was joking around last year, guys at the Jets, some guys got it tatted on their body. They embraced it so much. So it's a reason why they were, top 5 defense over there for, the last, 3 years I think it was, because I really think that he emphasizes the connection and, playing for one another is way more, deeper than any type of scheme, any type of cover 4. I think that's what really separates, good defenses and great defenses when you're able to, make it your own. And then at the end of the day, the fifth part of it is like you gotta own that part. And us as a defense, we got to be that representation for our whole team, not just for our defense. Absolutely, I'm bought in. I go home talking to my family about it, and he just puts everything into life perspective. It's not just all about football. And like I said, when you got somebody that's been in your shoes and he understands it, like it hits a little bit different when it's coming from him.
All right, well, look, Ulbrich has just breathed new life into this defense as a whole. I think when you watch him at training camp and at practices, he's very involved in this defense. He's not a hands-off kind of guy of like, I'm going to let my coaches do their thing. He's going to go in with the coaches, and he's going to coach alongside of the guys that he's brought in too, and Nate Ollie and Rudy. So it's been fun to watch them kind of piece it together, and it's going to be fun to see if they can let it loose today against the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, the pieces are there, right?
Yeah.
You have to have, they always say you got to have the Joes, right? Like you can be a great coach and you can have a great scheme, but if you don't have the players, it's going to be really hard to be successful. He's got the players. You heard from Jesse Bates, the leader on that side of the defense, and he's saying that they're all bought in. They're talking about this stuff at home. When these guys are playing together, when they're all on the same page, when they're communicating and they're understanding how important it is to go sacrifice for that guy next to them, for the other guys that are on the defense, that's when things truly get special. So it's great to hear that. Now we've all got to see it play out on the field.
Now we're very excited to see it play out on the field today. Let's go ahead and get to the inactives today, because there are some major names on both of these teams that will not be playing today, starting with the Falcons inactives, Darnell Mooney, the wide receiver. He was questionable coming into this game. It was going to be a game time decision, and they decided to keep him out for week 1. Major miss for this Falcons offense, not having one of their bigger pass catchers, on the field. Then you flip over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bigger names on this inactives list. Chris Godwin, he will be out, which we kind of knew coming into this game, coming into week 1, that he was probably going to be out. Tristan Wirfs pops out to me as well. I mean, he's an all-pro on both the right and left side, being a all-pro tackle for this Tampa Bay Bucs offense. And then Benjamin Morrison, the rookie from Michigan, he will not get the start today. He will be inactive, and the nickel position will now be a question mark going into today. Let's start with the Bucs, because we need to talk about the Bucs just in general.
Yep.
Looking at these injuries, and of course, Jalen McMillan is on IR as well. Another pass catcher not going to be able to play for the Bucs today.
Yep.
What are your initial thoughts going in?
Well, here's the thing. With Chris Godwin, I think that pretty much everybody realized or thought that he was going to be out week 1, very similar to the Darnell Mooney situation. And don't get me wrong, Chris Godwin is an extremely important part of this offense. And when him and Mike Evans are on the field at the same time, they're a dangerous passing team, especially with Baker Mayfield at the quarterback position. But the other thing that I want to say is that Chris Godwin was injured last year, and so they missed him a lot last year. And there's this guy named Mike Evans that for some reason everybody just continues to forget about. And all he does is throw up 1,000-yard seasons, right? 11 straight to start his career. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, you could say that Chris Godwin's going to be out, and this is going to be a loss for the Tampa Bay Bucs, and it is to an extent. But they still have Mike Evans, and they got a first-round pick in Emeka Egbuka, who had 2,000-yard seasons at Ohio State, arguably one of the best wide receivers in college football last year. I think he just jumps right into that position, and he finds himself some footing. Very talented wide receiver, obviously played at the highest levels of a program, won a national championship. So the expectations and the pressure are not going to be too much for Emeka Egbuka. So he probably slides in and kind of takes over that role of Godwin. Yes, Godwin being out is hurts Tampa, maybe helps Atlanta a little bit, but they still have 2, if not more, really talented receivers.
Yeah, and listen, if I'm the offensive coordinator, I'm thinking it's obviously Chris Godwin is a miss, but having Emeka Egbuka out there, I'm excited to see what the rookie can do.
Yeah.
And speaking of offensive coordinators, this is the Tampa's 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years, and not by firings. This is by hirings. All of these coordinators that you see on the board right now, Dave Canales, Liam Cohen, these are now head coaches in the NFL. Liam Cohen getting his first, start, you will, today as a head coach down in Jacksonville. So I mean, when you look at this board, you just see guys that do so well under Todd Bowles, and Todd Bowles lets them command the offense, and they've done nothing but get huge wins in the NFC South.
Yeah, I think these guys are very respected, and I think they've been fortunate that Baker Mayfield came here and resurrected his career, and he's had an excellent job or career at Tampa, right? Kind of revitalizing things, throwing up a lot of points, and they've been kind of products of that. Yes, they're the play callers, but their offense has been successful. So Josh Grizzard comes in, relatively younger, if you will, 35 years old, did spend 7 years with the Dolphins organization, was the passing game coordinator last year under Liam Cohen. So for the defensive side of the ball for Atlanta, there's probably a little bit of uncertainty. You're not quite sure what Josh Grizzard's stamp is going to be as a play caller, but you do know the personnel that's out on the field. You know the quarterback, you know the running backs, you know the wide receivers, you know what they do well. So if Grizzard is a good offensive coordinator, he's still going to use all of his weapons and find ways to get him the football, but it's going to be a minute before Jeff Ulbrich kind of figures out how Josh Grizzard is going to attack him, because he probably doesn't have a feel for him yet as a play caller.
Right, and that's the thing with week 1. I think really week 1 to week 3 is kind of not a coin flip so much, but you just don't have a ton of stuff on these guys, especially with new play callers and new defenses for Jeff Ulbrich as well. Like, you just don't know what they're going to put on the field. You don't know what they're going to call, but you do know what someone is going to be able to do, and that's Baker Mayfield. You know what this guy can do in crunch time. He is a clutch quarterback. He gets the quarterback out of his hands. He gets the football out of his hands really quickly. When you look at Baker Mayfield and you look at the emphasis on rushing the quarterback and getting to the quarterback for this defense, where do you think the line is, and how quickly do you think that they will be able to get to Mayfield today?
Well, yeah, that's a challenge in this game because of Baker Mayfield. He is a very good off-script quarterback.
Yep.
And what do I mean by that? His ability to make something out of nothing. He's slippery. He's athletic. He still has the ability to run with the football. So this is one of those games where, as a pass rusher, you've got to get upfield. You got to try to get in his face, but you also have to stay within your rush lanes. What does that mean for the average fan? That you can't have everybody running up around the horn, running the outside of the tackles, and all of a sudden you see these huge running lanes up the middle, because Baker Mayfield's going to take off. He's going to see it, and he's going to exploit it, whether that's for 7 yards or for 17 yards, but he knows how to keep this offense on schedule. He's going to take what you give them. Now, will he take his shots downfield? Yes. Will he throw the crossing routes? Yes. Will he throw the comebacks on the sidelines? Absolutely. But you've got to make sure that you rush with some discipline, right? You've got to come up the field, but you've got to understand that he has got the ability to tuck it down. So his improvisation is one of the things that makes him so good, is playing off script. Scramble drill, if we call it. He's going to get outside the pocket, and he's going to frustrate you. You've got to continue to fight against Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and something I watched a couple of his press conferences this week, and something that I found so interesting was he really gives the flowers to Jesse Bates and A.J. Terrell and what they're able to do in the backfield. And he says they make my job a lot harder, and you have to be really aware of where those guys are at all times. But I've got Mike Evans and I've got Emeka Egbuka. So, I mean, for the fans that don't know Emeka Egbuka, because this is the Atlanta Falcons. I'm sure most fans are fans of the SEC as well. They might not know Emeka Egbuka very well. So what are the expectations, and what should people look out for in Emeka today?
Very smooth route runner.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that you have to have in the NFL if you want to have success, is you've got to be a precise route runner, but more importantly, you got to be able to get off the line of scrimmage. And that's something that I saw him do over his years at Ohio State. He's got that ability to create separation getting off the line of scrimmage. Now, yes, is it going to be harder here in the National Football League? Absolutely. You're going to probably see some A.J. Terrell in this game, and he's going to get up in your face, and you're going to have to be physical, and you're going to have to be smooth getting off the line of scrimmage. But the young receivers that come into the league that are great route runners are the ones that have success, and Emeka Egbuka is that. Smooth. What do I mean by that? When he comes across the formation, like if he's got a crossing route, like he just knows the field, understands how to use his body to create a little bit of a window and get himself open. So there's going to be a learning curve for him, because things are going to be a little bit more challenging facing an NFL defense versus college defenses. But he is a very smooth player, and I mentioned it earlier, this moment will not be too big for him at all. He's been in this pressure-setting environment that he was in Columbus, Ohio.
Well, and listen, if the Falcons are to take away the passing options for this Tampa offense, they've got people in the backfield that can get the job done in Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. I mean, how do you answer it? I mean, I'm speechless because I don't even know how you answer to all of the weapons that they have offensively.
This is the reason why Tampa has been a team that can score points and they convert so highly on third down, is because they got a quarterback. Obviously, we just talked about Baker Mayfield, but they got 2 running backs in the backfield that are versatile. Bucky Irving, as a rookie last year, had over 1,000 yards rushing and he had 8 touchdowns, but he also ended up having 47 catches coming out of the backfield. So they feel comfortable with him in both areas of this offense. Rachaad White, not as much as far as the running game because Bucky Irving had such a good year, but his last 3 years coming out of the backfield, 50 catches, 64 catches, 51 catches. Both of these guys can make you pay in the passing game if you're not careful. So that's where these linebackers, the Caden Ellis, the Divine Diablo, finding these running backs coming out of the backfield, making sure you don't lose them, because they will dump the ball off to them. And not only will they make the catches, they'll make you miss after the catch. So that's why this offense is hard to face. Even though Atlanta did beat them twice last year, want to make sure that we did throw that out, is they got so many options, right? 2 backs coming out of the backfield, mobile quarterback, couple of wide receivers on the outside. Generally a pretty good offensive line, even though they're not going to have Tristan Wirfs in this game. Obviously, both offenses without really important tackles in this game.
Well, look, you mentioned the ability that Bucky Irving has to make you miss. He led the league last year in yards after catch, so making sure that he can get down and bringing him down quickly is going to be pivotal for this Falcons defense. Let's talk about this Falcons offense, though. Everyone has been talking about Michael Penix and what he will be able to bring to the field in his second year, and he's got a bunch of offensive weapons around him, too, in the offensive line, in the wide receivers, tight ends, and even in the backfield, too. I've asked him about 17 times what everyone's expectations are for Michael, for just everyone on this field, but what are the expectations for Michael entering year 2?
Yeah, for him to be an electric quarterback, and I'm not afraid to say it because this is the life in the National Football League. This is why it's the hardest position to evaluate. This is why these guys get paid the most money. Because they have the ability to make the most things happen on the football field. When your quarterback plays well in the National Football League, you have a chance to have winning seasons, get to the postseason, and ultimately advance to the Super Bowl. When your quarterback does not play well, you generally are looking at a 500 season or less, for all things being considered, okay? So his job as a first-round pick is to come in here, and you could say, a lot of people throw around game changer versus game manager. And they think that game manager means that, well, this guy's not very good and he needs to make sure that he just makes mistakes and he dumps the ball off. No, that is not true at all. A game manager is somebody that always gets the offense lined up properly, knows where the wide receivers and tight ends are supposed to be before they break the huddle, make sure that they don't have any of those pre-snap procedure penalties, but then he also is protecting the football, staying on schedule with the chains. These are all game manager things. Then when it comes to game changer is where I'm really excited to see him, because we know that he can let the football go, right? He can take those shots downfield. Arm strength is not a concern for Michael Penix Jr., but can he make those shots downfield and hit them? Because it's one thing to take a shot downfield and make a 50-yard completion, or it's another thing, as one of my old college coaches used to call, Glenn Mason, when I was at University of Minnesota, he used to say, it's just a long foul ball. Like, if you're just throwing deep shots and you're not connecting, guess what? It's 2nd and 10. It doesn't do you any good. So they need him to be a game changer as well. But to me, it starts with the management part of it, right? Can he get everybody lined up? Can he get the play off in the play clock? Can he protect the football? Can you protect the football from the quarterback position, whether it's eliminating interceptions or tucking the football away in the run game and making sure it doesn't get punched out? These are all the things that I'm looking forward to seeing from him this year.
Yeah, I think in the NFL there's always so much conversation about whether the quarterback has it. And what it is, I don't know. I don't think anyone can explain what it is, but when a player has it, you know. And I think Michael Penix is potentially one of those players. I think last year with the 3 starts that he had, starting with the Giants, then going to the Commanders and playing Sunday Night Football against Jaden Daniels, and then coming back and playing the Carolina Panthers here at home, 2 of which went to overtime. He never blinked. The guy knows how to play this game. I know there was so much conversation about him coming into the league as he has too many years in college. He's injured and he doesn't, he's too old to be a rookie quarterback, whatever you want to call it. I think that gives you so much insurance almost. This guy's played a lot of snaps, a lot of meaningful snaps. He's been to a national championship before. He knows how to play, and I think you saw all of those immeasurables in him last year in those 3 games that he started.
Yeah, it's like you could make the argument on both sides. You could look at the quarterback that comes out in 3 years, and everybody wants to make the excuse, if you will. You got to give him time. He's young. He's inexperienced. Okay, and then it's like you get a Michael Penix that comes in, and they want to say that he's old.
Yeah.
Well, how about maturity? How about seasoned? How about he's seen things, right? So you can always look at these things on both sides of the coin, but it's just, to me, at the end of the day, listen, at the end of the day, do you go out and contribute? Do you play? Do you produce? You talked about the it factor. I think about guys like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, C.J. Stroud. It factor, right? Those guys have it factor. Why? Because they produced. They came out and they did things when they had the opportunity. Now it's Michael Penix's turn.
Well, here's a bigger question that we mentioned earlier in inactives. Darnell Mooney will not play today. He will be out with a shoulder injury. Who steps up for him? Obviously, we know Drake London, and we know what he can do, and we know what he will do. We know what Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier and Kyle Pitts will do as well. Who steps in for Darnell Mooney, and how much will they be used today?
Yeah, and it's interesting, and I'm glad that you laid out the name Kyle Pitts, because that's actually where I want to go. And Kyle Pitts is not a wide receiver.
No, he is not.
He is not going to be playing Darnell Mooney's position. But Kyle Pitts has wide receiver type talent. And I think we've seen it at times, but we haven't seen it in a consistent fashion. And that's what I think everybody that's going to be inside the stadium, everybody watching on television, and everybody inside this organization want to see this year in 2025. Can he harness his rookie season again? Can we see him making play after play, game after game from his position? Again, he is not Darnell Mooney. He is not going to play his position, but he has got talent to do it. And the other guy I'm interested to seeing a little bit more in an increased role is Casey Washington, right? He is a guy that we have seen a little bit during camp. They've been a little bit protective, knowing that he's probably going to be playing a much more important role this year. Got a lot of talent, very good-sized body and everything. Again, he's somebody that we might see a little bit more of, and then Ray McLeod has got to step up. So everybody's going to have to step up a little bit, but for Atlanta's sake, they kind of knew this was going to happen. They had a feeling he wasn't going to be ready for week 1, so you can plan for it. It's not like this was a Wednesday or Thursday development. They've been planning for this for weeks.
Yeah, and I know a much larger conversation, much larger question about this Falcons offense is the right tackle position. Obviously, Caleb McGarry went down during training camp along with Storm Norton. Storm Norton has the designation to return this season. Caleb McGarry does not. He is out for the remainder of the season. Elijah Wilkinson will get the start at right tackle today. Something to know about this Tampa defense is they blitz more than anyone else in this league. I mean, if you look at this defense, let me see if I can pull it up here. Levante David had 5.5 sacks last year. He's an inside linebacker. Antoine Winfield Jr. had 2 sacks last year, 6 sacks in 2023. Todd Bowles likes to blitz the passer, and if you have a right tackle that is being flooded by an edge rusher, and he's creating these large lanes for these inside linebackers, these safeties, these cornerbacks to come through and get the quarterback, things could get spicy really quickly for Michael Penix today.
Spicy. I like that. I like that. Here's what I'll say, too. Todd Bowles is very creative. These are going to be exotic looks for Elijah Wilkinson. Todd Bowles is not going to just walk somebody up on the outside and bring him, and it's going to be an easy adjustment. Hey, I got him. Bump the protection out. This is going to be something where he's going to make him think. He's going to test him. He's going to line somebody up over the top of him. They might be twisting inside. He's going to bring somebody off the slot to see if Elijah Wilkinson or the running backs or Michael Penix are going to make the last-second adjustment. Because of how much experience he has and he likes to put pressure on, he's going to find creative ways to see who he can get to trip up, whether it's Wilkinson or somebody else in that protection. So everybody's going to have to be on their P's and Q's, if you will, because it's going to be a challenge. The pressure is going to be dialed up.
It's going to take all 22, all 4 quarters. I mean, look, at last year, it took all 4 quarters last year for both of these meetings that they had last year, both here in Mercedes-Benz Stadium and then down in Raymond James Stadium, both of which came down to the wire, one of which overtime. Kadero Hodge, hello, best game of the year. All right, so let's quickly get to the keys to the game presented by Wells Fargo. You've got 3 for me today. What is your first one?
Playing a clean, fundamental game is my first one. Again, what does that mean? Well, I talked a little bit about it, but those pre-snap penalties that begin to kind of haunt you, right? The false start on first down that makes it 1st and 15. The holding penalty that makes it 2nd and 20. And now you're sitting at 3rd and 17 trying to stay on schedule with the chains. A lot of that happens because of you're not playing clean. You're not mentally focused like we talked about with Jeff Ulbrich on the defensive side of the ball. Can they stay away from those penalties that routinely disrupt drives offensively, but also on the defensive side of the ball. Can they stay away from those neutral zone infractions, those holding penalties in the passing game, or pass interference where you give the offense a free first down and they stay on the field? What's one area that this Falcons defense needs to improve on? Third down defense, getting off the field on third down. A lot of that can help by playing a clean, fundamentally sound game.
All right, give me your second key to the game today.
Second key is going to be winning up front on the offense. Now, I could make this argument on both sides of the ball, and I could make this argument every single game of the season. But on the offensive side of the ball, winning up front. We just talked about Elijah Wilkinson, the new tackle that's going to be in the game. Atlanta needs to run the football. They need to get these two big-time running backs going early, and that needs to happen by controlling the line of scrimmage, pushing it on the defensive side to get Bijan Robinson going, to get Tyler Algier going. That's going to help out your younger quarterback. I don't want to say Michael Penix Jr. is not a rookie anymore, right? He's an experienced veteran, if you will, but he's still young as far as experience goes. Give him some cleaner looks because people have to focus on the run game and the running backs coming out of the backfield. That starts by winning up front on the line of scrimmage.
Of course, third and final key today.
I kind of talked about it. Get off the field on third down.
It.
Get off the field on third down. This has been an area that Atlanta struggled last year. It's part of the reason why there's a new defensive coordinator in town. And this is how you end up getting the ball back to your offense, and you're facing a team in Tampa that knows how to put points on the board. If you get off the field, you're going to limit that because their drives are going to stall on the other side of the 50-yard line. But if you continue to let them get first down after first down after first down, number one, it's deflating. Everybody kind of starts looking around at each other and saying who's going to make the next play. Right. But also, they're sitting in scoring opportunity, right? It's either a field goal or a touchdown. Get off the field on third down. Let's get a good start here in the first game of the season.
All right, you guys, season 2. Taylor's preference is back.
We got to have like a little caricature, like a little
girl
that's got pretty hair like you do, that she's kind of like Taylor's preference.
No, it's too much. It's too much.
Right.
But it's pretty simple. My preferences are normally pretty simple. That's why they're called preferences. Like, I would just appreciate if you guys did this today. Get after the quarterback. This has been the marquee problem for the Falcons for the past, since 2016. Last year, they were 31st in the NFL in sacks and pressures, 28th in red zone defense, and the opposing quarterback normally would have a 70% completion rate, 34 touchdowns against this defense last year alone. You have got to get after the quarterback. You go out and you invest in Leonard Floyd. You go out and you invest in Divine Diablo, an inside linebacker who can stop the run and can help you get to the quarterback faster. Yep. You invest in all of these rookies in the draft this year. You have got to start off at 20-25 strong by getting after Baker Mayfield, making sure that the ball is in his hands when he hits the ground, maybe with that big James Pierce Jr. and Leonard Floyd at the helm of all.
You notice how she said the ball is in his hands when he hits the ground?
Make sure it's in his hands.
Because when he lets it go and he's on the ground, it doesn't matter because that ball could be caught, right?
Exactly. And we don't need you to celebrate him being on the ground and the ball is not in his hands. It's a crucial part of the sack that the ball is in Baker Mayfield's hands. All right, you guys, we appreciate you guys sitting with us, hanging out with us today for the Falcons pregame show presented by Ticketmaster. We're going to be with you guys next week, but in Ticketmaster Studios back at Flowery Branch as the Falcons go to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. We will see you guys next week.